Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Arham bin Hazan. Today I will presenting about business ethic. Business ethic is a field of study that examines the moral principles and standards that guide the behavior of businesses and their stakeholders. Public perception of business ethics may vary depending on the context, the culture, and the type of business involved. According to some recent research articles, public perceptions of business ethics are influenced by several factors, such as the first one, the relationship between the business and the human right violator. For example, the public may judge a business more harshly if it directly causes or contributes to human rights violations rather than being merely linked to them through its value chain. The second one is the practice of due diligence. For example, the public may expect a business to conduct adequate investigations and assessments of the potential human rights impacts of its activities and take appropriate measures to prevent or mitigate them. The third one is the type of human right abuse. For example, the public may be more sensitive to violation of civil and political rights, such as torture, arbitrary detention, or extrajudicial killings, than to violations of economic, social, and cultural rights, such as labor rights, health, or education. And the last one is the sector of the business. For example, the public may have different social representations of business ethics in the public and private sectors based on the core values and norms associated with each sector. Okay, next, what is ethical behavior? First, let's go with the meaning of ethic. Ethic is the philosophical discipline that studies what is morally good and bad and morally right and wrong. It involves fundamental issues of practical decision making and the nature of ultimate value and the standards by which human action can be morally evaluated. Example of the ethics, which is they have morality, principles, ideas, and fairness. Meanwhile, the definition of ethical behavior is the application of moral principles in a given situation. It means to behave according to the moral standards set by the society or culture we live in. Example of ethical behavior that have in the organization, such as like following the company rules, communicating truthfully, and not causing harm to others. That's all from me. Thank you.
Greetings, Doctor. Factors influencing ethical behavior: cultural difference, moral norms, what defines rights and wrong varies greatly across culture. For example, individualism in Western society might contrast with collectivism in Asian culture, influencing decisions made for self or group benefit. Religious belief. Religious doctrine often provide ethical framework that guide behavior. Social pressure, cultural expectations, and group dynamics can exert significant pressure on individuals to conform to establish norms, even if they conflict with their personal belief. Knowledge, moral awareness. Understanding ethical principles, rules, and consequences of actions is crucial for making informed choice. Lack of such awareness can lead to unintentional ethical lapse. Critical thinking, the ability to analyze situations, recognize ethical issues, and weigh different perspectives, play a vital role in navigating complex ethical dilemmas. Educational and upbringing. Educational system and family values can profoundly shape moral development. Organizational behavior. Code of ethics. A code of ethics is essentially a set of guiding principles that defines expected behavior for individual or organization within a specific group or context. It outlines that values, morals, and standards that members should strive to uphold in their decisions and actions. Whistleblowing. Whistleblowing refers to the act of disclosing information about wrongdoing within an organization to a higher authority. This wrongdoing can be illegal, unethical, or a threat to public safety or health. Ethical decision making. Ethical lapse. Situation in which an individual or a group makes a decision that is morally wrong, illegal, or unethical. Ethical lapse is a moral lapse, which is when a person makes a moral mistake or violates a moral code. Ethical lapse can be unintentional or intentional. Ethical dilemma. Situation in which more than one side or an issue can be supported with valid arguments. Ethical dilemma is a moral dilemma that occurs when a person is faced with two or more ethical choices and is unable to make an informed decision. An ethical dilemma is usually caused by different ethical principles or values conflicting with each other. That's all from me. Thank you.
Approaches to resolving ethical dilemmas. For the first one, justice. Summary is treat people equally or at least fairly in a way that makes rational and moral sense. Second, utilitarianism. Choose the option that delivers the most good for the most people or protects the most people from a negative outcome. Third, individual rights. To the greatest possible extent, respect the rights of all individuals, particularly their right to control their own destinies. And fourth, individual responsibilities. Focus on the ethical duties of the individuals involved in the situation. Fifth, the common good. Emphasize qualities and conditions that benefit the community as a whole, such as peace and public safety. And the last one, virtue. Emphasize desirable character traits such as integrity and compassion. Corporate social responsibility means the idea that business have obligations to society beyond the pursuit of profits. Next, the relationship between business and society. For the first one, much of what we consider when assessing a society's standard of living involve goods and services created by profit-seeking companies. Second, companies cannot hope to operate profitably without the many benefits provided by a stable, functioning society. Third, profit-seeking companies are the economic engine that powers modern society. They generate the vast majority of the money in the nation's economy. And the last one, consumers in contemporary societies enjoy and expect a wide range of benefits, from education and healthcare to credit and products that are safe to use. Philanthropy vs strategy CSR. Philanthropy means the donation of money, time, goods or services to charitable, humanitarian or educational institutions. For strategy CSR means social contributions that are directly aligned with a company's overall business strategy.
For the next part, I will talk about perspective on corporate social responsibility. Perspective, motivation to act. First, minimalist. Companies do not have social responsibility beyond earning money and obeying the law. Number 2, cynical. Companies use CSR as a marketing ploy to distract attention from their self-centered behavior. Number 3, defensive. Companies engage in CSR only after being shamed or forced into it. Number 4, proactive. Companies have a responsibility to help society beyond simply paying tax and obeying the law. We can see response from the philanthropy for the cynical, defensive, and proactive. Philanthropy, giving money to cause unrelated to the company's line of business. Response from the strategy CSR, only for proactive. They're investing in the area that are aligned with the company's business mission. Part is about defensive CSR, non-governmental organization NGOs. This organization is non-profit group that provide charitable service or promote social and environmental cause. Next is about CSR, the natural environment. Number 1, preparation, delivery, use, and disposal of products that society virtually always generate pollution and consume natural resources. Number 2, environmental causes are often as much about human health and safety as they about forests, rivers, and wildlife. Number 3, many of these issues often require top trade-off, occasional sacrifice, disruptive change, and decisions making in the face of encountering.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Khairul Idham bin Muhammad Saupi. Today, I want to present in Chapter 4, Business Ethics and Corporate Social Responsibility. Sources of electrical power in the United States, such as solar, wind, hydroelectric, geothermal, biomass, is renewable sources, while coal, natural gas, nuclear is non-renewable sources. Most of the electricity generated in the United States is produced by burning fossil fuels. Nuclear and hydroelectric power provide most of the rest. Efforts to conserve resources and reduce pollution is cap and trade. Cap and trade is a kind of environmental regulation that allows businesses considerable latitude in addressing the effect of certain pollutants on the environment, either by purchasing allowance to offset excess emissions or lowering emissions to meet a predetermined cap. Major federal environmental legislation is Clean Air Act 1963, Solid Waste Disposal Act 1965, Clean Water Act 1972, Toxic Substances Control Act 1976, Nuclear Waste Policy Act 1982, Oil Pollution Act 1990. Getting toward sustainability. Sustainable development is operating business in a manner that minimizes pollution and resource depletion, ensuring that future generations will have better resources. Corporate social responsibility. Consumers have 2 points. First point is consumerism. Consumerism is a movement that pressures businesses to consider consumer needs and interests. Second point is identity theft. Identity theft is a crime in which thieves steal personal information and use it to take out loans and commit other types of fraud. For example, consumers, first point is the right to buy safe product and to buy them safely. Second point is the right to be informed. Third point is the right to choose which product to buy, and last, the right to be heard. Corporate social responsibility. Employees. Discrimination is, in a social economic sense, denial of opportunities to individuals on the basis of some characteristic that has no bearing on their ability to perform in a job. For example, employees is affirmative action. Affirmative action is activities undertaken by businesses to recruit and promote members of group whose economic progress has been hindered through either legal barriers or established practice. That's all for today. Thank you.
Good morning to Dr. Amir Hayes. Today I'm going to explain about fatal occupational injuries. Fatal occupational injuries are workplace incidents that result in the death of an employee. Business ethics and corporate social responsibility (CSR) play significant roles in addressing and preventing such incidents. How CSR and preventing such incidents? Employee safety and well-being. Employee security and welfare are top priorities for more companies. This entails creating a secure workplace, putting in place the appropriate safety precautions, and routinely identifying and reducing any dangers. CSR-aware businesses understand that it is their duty to safeguard the well-being of their workers and keep them safe. After that, compliance with regulations. Law and regulation observance is a component of ethical behavior. Occupational health and safety rules must be followed by businesses in order to reduce the danger of fatal injuries. CSR pushes businesses to go above and beyond the call of duty in putting best practices for workers' safety into effect. Investment in safety programs. Complete safety programs are an investment made by ethical businesses. This entails regular training, the application of cutting-edge safety gear, and constant refinement of safety procedures. In order to improve safety both at work and in the larger community, where the firm operates, CSR efforts may incorporate community engagement. Furthermore, transparent communication. Concerning safety, ethical frames are transparent with one another. This covers the open reporting of events, encourage and steps taken to stop them from happening again in order to make sure that stakeholders' concern and input regarding safety are taken into account. CSR procedures frequently involve interacting with stakeholders including employees. Finally, employee empowerment. Employers who uphold ethics and social responsibility provide their staff members the freedom of actively contribute to the creation of a safe workplace. This can entail establishing a culture where everyone takes responsibility for safety, offering avenues for anonymous reporting and encouraging staff to identify hazards. And finally, this is a chart that shows fatalities per year according to different type of accidents. And that's all for now. Thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity.